Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'd like to talk to you today about creating and documenting your budget for bankruptcy purposes. As you probably know, bankruptcy is a lot about numbers, and a big part of the numbers involved in a bankruptcy case has to do with the budget that you propose to the court, both the means test budget as well as the real life budget, the Schedule I and J budget that you file. And that's really what I want to talk about. And specifically, what I would like you to be aware of is that it's really important to have documentation to support the information set out on your budget. For example, most people have either a mortgage payment or rent, and again, that documentation should be fairly easy to put your hands on. Other types of documentation you should have would be utility bills, gas, electric, water, that sort of thing. Cable TV is another one that you should have. Cell phones, sometimes the trustees will ask for all that. Medical expenses, very important, especially if you're claiming medical expenses more than just $40 or $50. If you've got medicines you have to purchase or out-of-pocket costs for diabetes supplies, something like that, you want to have documentation showing why you're spending what you're spending on medical costs. Food, of course, is something, and really with food, what you would need would be grocery receipts. I always tell my clients, save your grocery receipts so that we can show what you're spending per month on food. The bankruptcy court, the means test gives you a certain number related to food, but a lot of times that number is actually kind of low, and oftentimes I'll present a budget that has higher food expenses, and I'm asked to document that. And again, you should be able to document that with either check receipts or credit card receipts or grocery receipts themselves. And also, if you eat out a lot, that could be an issue. You need to show where you're eating out. Obviously, you don't want to see a lot of $200 dinners. That could be something the trustee might object to. Gasoline, and again, the price of gas has been going up and down. If you travel a lot, some people drive 40, 50, 60 miles to work. If that's the case and your gasoline expense is unusually high, you want to be able to document that. I've literally had cases where I'll submit a map showing how far my client drives back and forth to work, and we estimate the gas costs based on the amount of round trips the person takes and the mileage of the vehicle. So that's information you should have on hand. Vehicle repairs, and this would be things like tires. Now in Chapter 13 in particular, you're looking at a 5-year plan. And during that 5 years, you're probably going to have to replace your tires a couple of times. So what I do is when I'm doing a Chapter 13 budget is I figure out that there are certain costs that are going to be annual costs, and then there are going to be certain major repairs that most people are going to have. And you kind of back that into your vehicle repair category. So if you have, again, tires and it costs you $1,000 or $800 for tires, over the course of 5 years, you might have $1,500 or $1,600 worth of tires, and you can figure out over 60 months what that comes out to per month. If you have a 10-year-old car, you might need a transmission expense, and that would be something we could factor in over a 5-year budget. And if you're in Chapter 7 and you expect to have those expenses coming up, that can be part of your vehicle repair. So those are things to talk to your lawyer about, and really, again, you may not think about it, but having a vehicle repair is something you're more likely than not going to have, especially if you're driving an older type of vehicle. Home repairs. This is another area where you may not think about it, but during the course of 5 years in a Chapter 13, you may need to get a new air conditioning system or a new roof. And that's something you can document. I've many times brought into court home repair estimates or roof repair estimates or roof replacement estimates, and that can be put into your budget. And the reason I'm mentioning all these things is that and again, especially in Chapter 13, my experience has been that the trustees are going to look for every dime. They want you to put every dime available into your Chapter 13 plan. And if you have expenses that are likely to come up, don't assume the trustee will know you've got those expenses, and don't expect that you're going to have an easy time trying to deal with that during the middle of your plan, trying to get a temporary reduction so you can pay for these type of things. It's best to account for them ahead of time by figuring out what they're likely to be and putting that into your budget. And the same with Chapter 7. If you've got a repair that's likely to happen within the next year or 18 months, I think it's reasonable to put that into your budget as an expected repair and therefore get credit for it so that your budget can reflect the reality of what you're living with. So again, when you're doing a budget and you're filling one out in your questionnaire, don't just put in things you're paying right now, but figure out and think about and talk to your lawyer about those things you're likely to have to deal with over the next 1 to 2 years, and in Chapter 13 of the next 5 years, and you'd be surprised at how much money you may be spending in home repairs and vehicle repairs, things like that, that you weren't expecting. And that even goes for medical expenses. Some people they know they're going to have significant dental expenses. You can put that in. So anything coming up that you expect to see in the next year, 18 months for Chapter 7 or 5 years in Chapter 13, let's figure out a way to put that in your budget so that you can use up your disposable income and make your plan payment livable over the term, over the long term, not just the short term. So I hope this has been helpful, some thoughts about budgeting in bankruptcy in Chapter 13 and in Chapter 7. Any questions, of course, contact my office. We'll be happy to help. For now, this is Jonathan Ginsberg, and I will talk to you soon.